Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for today, Monday, November 6th. If you are joining me for the very first time, this is the way that today's video will be structured. We'll be going over the injuries in play for tonight's games. It's a 12-game main slate in total. And then we'll go over to both DraftKings and FanDuel and talk about my core picks. It's going to be one player at each position. So point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center on both the sites. Typically, I do a recap of yesterday's picks. Since we have not had a video since Friday, there will not be a recap for today's video. Going to make for a pretty interesting week in NBA this week. So today there is 12 games in total. Tuesday there is no games at all, so there will not be a video tomorrow. And then Wednesday we have a 14-game main slate, and then Thursday is a 2-game main slate. Typically I don't do it if it's less than 3 games, but we might just take a little in-depth look at that one. And then 4 games on Friday, so it's going to be for a very, very interesting week. But without further ado, we'll get started with the injuries in play for tonight's games. So there are going to be 4 teams that are on back-to-back. This first game with the Golden State Warriors and the Detroit Pistons is one of them. So just going to wait and see what that injury report looks like as the day moves along. Allegedly, the Warriors are going to play all their starters tonight, according to Steve Kerr. But take that with a grain of salt since he has been not the most honest coach in recent years. For the Pistons side, it's a back-to-back. We'll just wait to see what happens. Ivy missed yesterday. Alex Burks has missed the last couple of games, and then the rest of the guys have been out all season so far. For the Spurs, they're another team that are on the back-to-back. Devin Vassell probably not playing today. He did miss yesterday, so there should be probably Malachi Branning in that starting lineup once again. A couple more minutes to go around for guys like Trey Jones, Doug McDermott, and a couple others. And then for the Pacers side, we got Jarris Walker is listed as questionable play. Hasn't been a major part of the rotation so far this year, though. Then we get over to Dallas Mavericks, who are also on the back-to-back. Maxi Kleber probably not playing once again tonight, though. And then on the opposite side with the Orlando Magic, Wendell Carter's out once again, as well as Gary Harris. And then Markelle Fultz listed as questionable. He's been dealing with some knee issues, inflammation, soreness. We'll see whether or not he plays tonight or not. If he doesn't play, Anthony Black could get the start once again and look like a pretty good paydown option on both sites. Then we move down to the Washington Wizards, who have 3 guys with 3 ankle injuries. All listed as questionable at this point in time. And Denny Advia, Daniel Gafford, and Corey Kispert. Gafford's played the last couple games, so safe to assume that he's probably going to play tonight. But in terms of Advia and Kispert, it's kind of up in the air whether or not they'll play. And then on the opposite side for the Philadelphia 76ers, they look all the way healthy at this point in time. Then we move over to the Lakers, who are without Vincent Vanderbilt, Hood Schifino, and Rui Hachimura once again. Then Jackson Hayes is also listed as questionable at this point in time. So a lot of injuries there for this Lakers team. They should get Taurean Prince back tonight, though. So that is kind of one benefit for them overall. And then we move over to the Miami Heat side, who are without Caleb Martin once again. RJ Hampton's listed as questionable, but he's not a major part of that rotation either way. And then Duncan Robinson and Jimmy Butler both listed as probable to play tonight. For the Milwaukee Bucks, they appear to be all the way healthy at this point in time. On the Brooklyn Nets side, they're without Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson once again. Lonnie Walker is listed as probable due to his knee injury for tonight's game. So pretty healthy in terms of what we've seen out of them in recent games. And then we move over to the Clippers, who are without Brandon Boston and Terrence Mann tonight. But James Harden will make his Clippers debut. And then with that being said, head coach Ty Lue did say that he'll be on some type of minutes restriction. So probably not a guy that we want to get to for DFS purposes tonight. Kind of limits the value of this Clippers team overall. Although Russell Westbrook's played pretty well as of late, so he looks like an interesting GPP option. And then Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they got respectable price tags on both sites. And then for the New York Knicks, just RJ Barrett listed as questionable. Once again, he's missed, I believe, the past 3 games now with his knee injury. We'll see whether or not he's back or not. If he's not back, then it opens up minutes for guys like Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Emmanuel Quickley, and Quentin Grimes tonight. Then we move over to the Utah Jazz, who are all the way healthy at this point in time. For the Chicago Bulls, Ayo Dosunmu still listed as questionable. He's dealing with an illness, missed their most recent game. And then we got Patrick Williams and Alex Caruso, both listed as probable to play tonight. And it'd be interesting to see if Torrey Craig's still in that starting lineup or not. He is a cheap value option on both sites if you want to go that direction. However, there should be quite a few options out there tonight overall. But, he is cheap on both sides. Probably not going to draw a ton of ownership, though, either way. Moving down to the Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox, Trey Lyles, both out once again, so no real changes there. For the Houston Rockets side, Amen Thompson is out now, as well as Victor Oladipo. And then we do have Tari Eason listed as doubtful, so he's trending in the right direction, but still probably out once again tonight. For the Boston Celtics, we got Oshai Brissett and Queta both listed as questionable. And now Derek White is listed as probable for today's game, kind of expected to back after his little personal issue that he's been taking care of. And then on the Timberwolves side, just Clark out once again, so no changes there. For the Atlanta Hawks, Buffkin and Matthews out once again, so no real changes there, no big factors to the rotation either way. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Kenrich Williams once again tonight, so still going to see a lot of Josh Giddey looking pretty good, hopefully with some upside tonight, as well as Jalen Williams. Lou Dort gets a bump. Chet Holmgren's even played better in the couple games without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Kaysen Wallace has drawn the start, so we'll see what he does, although he's got the minutes, but hasn't really done too much production-wise with those minutes so far. Moving down to the Pelicans, same three guys out in Alvarado, Najee Marshall, and Trey Murphy. And then they're joined by CJ McCollum, who I believe has a fractured rib and a collapsed lung, or at least that was kind of at least the initial report. Hopefully everything's going to be okay for him long term. But we'll see somebody in his place open up as a value, whether it's Dyson Daniels, whether it's Kira Lewis Jr., maybe even Jordan Hawkins. Those guys should see some additional minutes and could potentially be some decent value plays on tonight's slate overall. And then for the Denver Nuggets side, Kankar's out once again, and Jamal Murray does join him. He's dealing with a hamstring injury at this point in time. So Reggie Jackson should get the start tonight. You'll see a little bit of a bump up for Nikola Jokic, probably in terms of assist rate, as well as Aaron Gordon for tonight's game overall. But with that being said, that's kind of a quick little rundown on the 12-game main slate for today. As for injuries, we're going to get a lot of updates as the day moves along, so definitely be sure that you're checking up down in the comments as we get closer to lock for all the latest injury news, as well as those starting lineups as they do come out as well. And then with that being said, if there's any changes to my core throughout the day, we'll leave an updated core about 15 to 20 minutes prior to lock as a pinned comment, or as those changes do become available as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my core picks for tonight's games. So keep in mind it's a 12-game main slate, so these could very much change throughout the day as we do get more news. But we're going to start off at the point guard position with Marcus Sasser. He's played really well for the Pistons so far this season. $4,400, we're looking for 22 points. He's been up over 30, I believe, the past 2 or 3 games now at this point in time. Playing pretty big minutes, especially with Alec Burks out. If Burks is back today, then maybe we lean off of Sasser as we switch over to like a Dyson Daniels at this point guard spot. But at this point in time, Sasser looks pretty good. Currently have him projected for, 26, 27 points tonight. There's always the chance that somebody else does ultimately end up missing tonight and helps him out minutes-wise. Pretty decent pace-up spot versus the Golden State Warriors as well. Then we're going to move down to shooting guard with Taylor Horton Tucker. He's been pretty interesting option so far this season. So started a lot of games. His minutes have kind of been all over the place though. $5,500, looking for 27, 28 points. He's averaging 26.5 on the season, but more often than not, so far on the young season, he has been up over 30 points in those games. So I do like the upside for him tonight. Going against the Chicago Bulls should be a pretty favorable matchup as well. Currently, I'm projected for 30 points tonight. Could have a little bit of upside for more as well. Then small forward, we're just going with Lou Dort here, kind of a safe option at $5,600, looking for 28 points. Currently what I am projected for tonight. He's averaging 25 on the season. Obviously, with no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he gets a little bit of a bump up in everything else across the board. So do like him quite a bit tonight. Obviously, if we get some more injury news throughout the day or any news that does open up another value at this position, we could move off of Lou Dort at that point in time, especially kind of with the balance build that we're kind of looking at this point. But it still looks like a pretty reasonable option today. Like I said, looking for 28. Still have him currently projected for 28 tonight. Has a little bit of upside for more as well. Then at power forward, we're going to go with Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magic, $7,700. Looking for 38, 39 out of him, averaging 37 so far on the season. Was a really, really slow start for the season for him. There is no Wendell Carter Jr. right now at this point in time, so he could have a couple extra opportunities to get some rebounds in this game overall. Dallas, not the greatest rebounding team as well, so do like Paolo Banchero to get at least 40 points tonight. He's been up over 50 the past 2 games, so definitely do like him once again. And then last but not least, we're going to that center position with Anthony Davis, $9,900, looking for 50 points. He's averaging almost 58 so far in the season. He's been up over 60, like 4 out of the last 5 games, so he's been doing extremely well. His price tag probably should be closer to $11,000 than $10,000 that it is at this point in time. So definitely do like that upside out of him today. And with that being said, right now I currently have Anthony Davis projected for about 58, 59 points, but there's a pretty good chance that he does go over 60 once again. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you'll have $16,900 remaining, just over $5,600 per player remaining. So we're going to get creative here, find some value picks, maybe a little bit more balanced build, but with a 12-game main slate, there are going to be values that do open up throughout the day as we get some of that news, the injury news out there. Going to be somebody that does open up this slate in a pretty big way. I can almost guarantee it at this point in time. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. So once again, we're going to start off with that point guard position with Marcus Sasser. He's $4,900 on FanDuel, so looking for 24, 25. Still projected for about 26, 27 points tonight. Could have the upside for more as he's gone for over 30 in a couple of the games so far this season. When you look at him, he's a guy that can get some steals as well, so that could help him out. It's a pace-up spot versus Golden State. So it's going to look like a pretty attractive play today. If Alec Burks is back, maybe it impacts his minutes some, and then we switch over to a guy like Dyson Daniels. But some pretty good cheap options out there at the point guard position on the FanDuel side. Kobe White's another one that I would mention as well, but he's a little bit volatile, but he has some pretty decent upside at his price tag. Then we're going to move down to shooting guard with Cam Thomas. He's $7,100. We're looking for 35, 36 points out of him. He's averaging 38 so far on the season, going against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are a team that do give up a lot of three-point opportunities, which is something that Cam Johnson does love to shoot them threes. So it could be a big scoring game for him overall. Currently, I'm projected for 38. Does have a ton of upside for more. He's gone over 40, I believe, 4 out of the 6 games so far this season. So definitely looks like a pretty good option overall. And then we're going to move down to small forward once again with Lou Dort at $5,600. Looking for 28 points out. Currently, I'm projected for 28. Has a little bit of upside for more as he does get that boost with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out once again tonight. And if you look at what he's done on the season, it's about 25 fantasy points per game. There's a couple dud games in there, which, he does have the low floor, but he does have a decent ceiling, especially on FanDuel, where you get some extra points for steals and blocks as well. Then we're going to move it down to power forward with Aaron Gordon. He's $6,000. He's been playing extremely well the last 2 games, and there is no Jamal Murray tonight, so he's going to take on a little bit bigger role in terms of ball handling and facilitating for tonight's game. Should be a pretty interesting game for him overall. A little bit of a matchup there versus Zion Williamson as well, but I do like Aaron Gordon. The games that he's played at least 34 minutes in this year, he's been really, really good. And that $6,000 price tag would definitely be very, very undervalued at that. So if he can do that once again tonight, play 34 more minutes, have a little bit more of a facilitating assist role for this team overall, definitely do like him. Currently, I'm projected for about 32, 33 fantasy points, but definitely has a ton of upside for more as well. Then last but not least, we're going to go down to the center position. There's plenty of guys you can play here, whether it's Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid. I just threw Clint Capella in here because he's the best projecting value for me at this point in time. $6,100, looking for 30, 31 fantasy points out. Currently, I'm projected for about 31 fantasy points tonight. Goes against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Chet Holmgren should be an advantageous matchup for him overall. Should be able to get a couple extra rebounds on him. And, be able to bully him around a little bit with the frame that Holmgren does have overall. And then if you look at what Capella's done on a season, just under 30 fantasy points. There's been a couple down games in there, so that is a little bit of a risk. But overall, he's probably one of the more consistent centers on tonight's slate overall for his respective price tag. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $30,300 remaining, just under $7,600 per player. So some room and opportunities to pay up for a star player or 2 if that's something you really want to do. If you want to pay up at that center position, once again, obviously there's Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Anthony Davis at the top. And then obviously you can pay up at multiple other spots and then kind of find some value plays and mix and match there as well. If you really want to go with a balanced build tonight, it's definitely one that you can do as well. Should make for a pretty interesting 12-game main slate overall. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel for today, November 6th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I would ask that you do know whether those questions are FanDuel or DraftKings specifically, just so I can help you as quickly and efficiently as possible. And then with that being said, as always, we'll be listing all the injury news as it comes out throughout the day, as well as those starting lineups. Once again, if there's any changes to my core whatsoever, we'll leave an updated core about 15 to 20 minutes prior to lock as a pinned comment, or as those changes do become available throughout the night. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking it out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we got NBA DFS Monday through Friday in terms of the core pick videos. And then once a week, we'll be doing the NFL DFS video, kind of looking at my player pool in totality. Might sneak in a first look video tomorrow for NFL DFS just because there is no NBA DFS tomorrow. We'll have to see what that all looks like. And then with that being said, if you're interested in sports betting, prop betting, be sure to check out the links down in the description below, as well as the codes for BetUS, Prize Picks, and Parlay Play. Some great first-time deposit offers over there. If you have any questions regarding sports betting, prop betting in general, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comments or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you out with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS tonight.